So 7 or 8 months ago, I was finishing my dissertation, I was finishing school, I was getting ready to hopefully move into a new job. COVID happened, and as we all know, that hasn't been great for anybody, but that especially wasn't great for academia. And because of that, the faculty job that I was hopefully going to move into didn't become a reality. Well, as soon as that happened and I found out you're not going to get the faculty job this year, I was kind of like, okay, well, in that case, I think that seems like a good indicator that it's time to move on and do something different. So, about 1 or 2 weeks later, I quit my job that I had been working and decided that it was time to get up and move. So that happened in May. Over the rest of May, June, and then into July, we figured out, okay, where are we moving? Where physically are we going to actually live when we get there? And what am I going to do when we get there? And that's where things start to get kind of exciting and also just a little bit stressful and tense. Rather than doing the classic look for a job, apply for it, see if you get it, and then move somewhere, what we decided to do was bet on my ability to start a business, which is exciting, and also a little bit of pressure, and just move somewhere where there was no job and create one. So that is what the last 6 months has been. I have been working really hard to start a business. It has been quite the process. I've learned a ton along the way. I'm sure that I've made mistakes that I'm totally not aware of yet, but it has been really fun and exciting, and I've learned a ton. And I think that brings up the big question of, what am I telling you about it for? Well, I'm telling you because I'm actually going to change what I post on the channel here. Now I realize I'm not making promises because promises on YouTube are kind of like smoke. It just kind of goes away. That said, I am going to make a promise. Anyways, my promise is that I'm just going to bring you along and be honest about what's going on, what I'm working on, and how it's going. And I'm also going to try and bring back some of the stuff that I've done over the last 6 months that I've learned kind of the hard way, or just it was funny or hard or whatever. And I want you to be able to learn from my experience. And I think the first thing that happened with was finding a business name. You would not think that finding a business name would be the hardest part about starting a business, but for me personally, that was terrible. I spent, I think, from May to June to July to August to, I think I didn't come up with a name till September, and that was me thinking about it, my wife thinking about it, my family thinking about it, anybody that I saw, ran into, randomly encountered who was like, hi, let's have a conversation. Do you have a business name for me? And I would pretty much talk to everybody about it, and the consensus I the response, whatever. The response that I always seemed to get was like, oh, that's great, that's really interesting, I'm sure you have really good ideas, and no, I don't have any to share with you, sorry. See ya. But yeah, so 4 months of trying to come up with a name later, I finally settled on a name. And if you've been on this channel before, or you've seen the last video I put out, you know the name was Olive Counseling. I hear it now when I say it. For some reason it didn't quite connect with me when I first signed up for it, that olive sounds like all of instead of olive. But I think that's okay. It's just kind of funny when you communicate it over the phone and people are searching for it and they're like, I don't see all of counseling anywhere. And you have to explain, no, I'm Olive. But I think that was the hardest hurdle of actually starting a business. Because after that, all I had to do was register it as a business, which in Idaho was incredibly easy. You just pay a fee, fill out a form, and within like 12 hours they'd gotten back to me telling me I had a business. And then the process of actually starting all of the other things began. And I'm not going to get into that right now. I just want you to know that I'm excited that you're here, and I'm looking forward to getting to be honest with you, getting to be real with you as I go forward, and hopefully also maybe getting a little bit of support from you, because I definitely have questions sometimes where I'm like, I have no idea what the answer is, because I'm a counselor and I'm not an accountant. So I don't know how this works. Being an accountant is not the only thing I'm not a lot of things, but that was just the first one that came to mind, because the current problem I'm figuring out is how do you do self-employment taxes, because, you know, those are kind of important. Either way, that's all for now, and I hope that you enjoyed this, and if you have any thoughts or words of encouragement, or you just have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Oh, and finally, I don't think I said what business I made, because you probably know, but you might not. I made a counseling practice, as in a private practice for counseling. You probably already know that though, because if you're here, that means you might have context for me. Either way, that's all. Good talking to you. Until next time, bye.